welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today I'm remaking this Yu-Gi-Oh prediction because on the other one it actually had the music too loud and my mic was too low, so I fixed that. Hopefully it will be better this time around. This time I made sure that the music was not too loud. So let's go through this again. So how I'm going to do this is I will start the prediction by going off of main deck cards and then into extra deck cards. So starting this off, we got Cosmo Farm Girl. I'm predicting she's going to get banned. And the reason for that is because of Cosmos being able to OTK really easily. So that's all I have to say about Farm Girl. For those of you who say, oh, you just don't like Cosmos or something of the sorts, it's one of the best cards in the deck and it's the only way they can pull off stuff. That's wrong. You can still use Sword Troopers, you still have Tin Can, you still have all those really good cards. It's just that I see Farm Girl as being way too unbalanced. That she can add Dark Destroyer and just instant OTK if you have nothing to stop her. Next up, I see, unfortunately, Performapal Monkey Board getting banned. They put him at 1 to see if he still would wreak havoc. Unfortunately, he still did. So that's all I have to say about Monkey Board, except that he was one of my favorite cards in the Performapal engine, but unfortunately I do see him getting banned. Next up is Windup Hunter, which I will talk about when I get to Windup Carriers and Mighty. Next is Mage, Specter Unicorn Kieran. I see him getting banned because of how crazy his effects are. He is Mage Specter, so he can't be targeted or destroyed by opponent's card effects, which makes him pretty hard to get off the field. And his other effect is that he can return one pendulum monster and straight up just compulse one of your monsters. So that's very, very hard to get around, especially when you have to either attack over it or something of the sorts. And the problem is, you have a very hard time of getting him off the field, because if you attack over him, they can just re-pendulum summon him, or you only have a chance of simply bottomlessing him or soloing him, or if you get lucky, you can Drowning Mirror Force him. But still, he can come back very easily from Drowning Mirror Force, so your only chance of getting him off the field is stopping him from essentially hitting field, which is really broken if you have to stop him from hitting field in the first place. And there's zero chance of getting him off field forever when he gets destroyed. He just comes back. That's a very, very broken, in my own opinion. Next up, Odd Eyes Fusion. I see either Odd Eyes Fusion or Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon getting hit to banned or maybe limited, but with a lot of cards, when they get limited, since they are already a one of, it doesn't really affect them. Like Vortex, he's already a one of. I believe Odd Eyes Fusion is usually a one of or a two of, but still is a very, really good card, and it can be used for any dragon type fusion monster, which is very, very useful. And I didn't really see it too much when it came to qualifiers and all that, but still it was relevant to bring out Vortex. And so with that, I do see them getting hit. Maybe. It probably is a long shot to say it. Next up, I say Heavy Storm, and that is if my Card Demise prediction is right. And I will explain Card Demise prediction But for now, I see Heavy Storm getting limited. So that's to stop all these demise decks just sitting there with a bunch of spell and traps looking at you and just laughing because you can't do anything. Well, with Heavy Storm, you can get rid of all that. But they can still do stuff even after, because they usually already got set up. Next up, I see Pantheism either getting banned or limited. I'd be very happy if it got limited, and I'd be a little sad if it got banned, because banned is a little too harsh. Pantheism at 3 is a little too crazy in my opinion, because you can use it multiple times in a turn to keep drawing, and also it is searchable of itself, such as you can search Pantheism with Pantheism. Usually you can't really use that in many cards to search themselves, which is very broken when it does happen. Next up, I see Cosmotown getting semi-limited or limited. I don't see it getting banned, because if it gets banned, then Cosmos, they will very much be hurt. Farm Girl getting banned doesn't really hurt them, but Cosmotown getting banned, that may hurt them pretty hard. And that may be a little too harsh, seeing that Dark Planet came out in Shining Victories not too long ago. I believe it was Shining Victories. It may have been something else. But with Cosmotown, I see it getting limited or semi-limited. And for people who say it can search itself, I've played against many Cosmo players, and when they lose Cosmotown, how many times have they really searched out Cosmotown instead of searching out one of their good combo pieces such as Farm Girl? 0 times. I've never run into a Cosmo player who searches Cosmotown from Cosmotown. They usually never do that. Next up, I see Cardamize getting semi-limited, and reason for this is because it basically just came out 3 months ago. That's kind of like, it just came in, guys. Why kill a card just as it came in? But then again, Konami, they did hit Pepe hard basically as they were walking in the door. So this is possible to see Cardamize getting hit hard, but I do see it getting semi-limited. It most likely will be on the ban list, but I only see it semi, and then later on maybe limited or banned, counting on if it still is relevant. Next up, I see Perform Pal Skull Crobat Joker getting semi-limited, and reason for this is because of him only being broken because of Perform Pal Monkey Board and Perform Mage Plushfire. He was really only broken because of that, and putting him to semi replaces that monkey board that they just banned, if this is right. So it could be a nice little thing to bring back a little more and see if it still hurts meta pretty bad. If it wreaks havoc, then they'll probably put him back to limited or maybe banned. Hopefully not banned, because he is a really nice card for pendulum decks such as Perform Pal and all that. Next up is cards/decks that I believe will not get hit whatsoever, and that, starting off, will be Blue Eyes. Now, Blue Eyes together, the actual deck, I don't think they will get hit whatsoever, because they basically exactly walked into the door. You don't think that people in Konami will be thinking of TCG when this deck just came in, let's bitch slap it, and then send it right back out the door? I don't see that ever happening in Konami history except for Pepe, where it basically just came in and then they decided to ban it quickly. I don't think Blue Eyes will get hit whatsoever. They may get hurt by some of their cards that aren't a part of their actual archetype, but I don't think they'll actually get hit. Next up, Raigeki. Raigeki is a nice little card to clear field and then get rid of those really big boss monsters that you can't get around. It's a nice card, and I truthfully think they will just keep it at limited. It's a limited card, it's not searchable in really good ways. You could search it by some random cards, but really it's just a one-of, and you don't really have to search it or anything. It's just a nice little card. Next is Domain and Stormforth. Starting off with Domain. Domain is basically the one way that monarchs can utilize themselves to take out some really big monsters such as Cosmos. It's one of the only ways that they can take down Cosmos, because Cosmos, like Dark Destroyer and Eclipser, they can't be attacked over by monarchs by themselves, but with Domain up they can take down those guys. Unfortunately, they will probably recur themselves, but still, it is something, and it's an easier way to bring out your monarchs, which I do find is very, very good. Next up, I see Monarch Stormforth not getting hit, maybe getting semi, but not really getting hurt too much. Reason for this is again, like Domain, it's basically the way to get around some of these big monsters that monarchs can't really take down. It's one of the only ways that they can get around it. And now into extra deck. We already talked about Ada's Vortex Dragon with Ada's Fusion. It's one or the other. Next is Bionic Dragon of Ice Barrier, and I say this as a long shot. I say him getting limited, such as Trishula did. And I say Bionic getting limited to 1 because of maybe Heavy Storm not coming back. If Bionic comes back to 1, that could limit the Demise decks. Unfortunately, it still is very viable to get hit by the Demise decks before it even comes out. So, it's a long shot. That's all I'm saying. Next is Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon getting banned. I say this because he is a walking honest, and he is a monster that can just negate a monster. So it's a very hard card to get around in the first place. You have to destroy it by a spell or trap, or flip it face down, or something in the sorts. But him being a walking honest by himself, that is very, very good. When you bring him out, some decks can't get around that and instant lose. Sometimes Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon can be an instant win condition, such as Kieran. Next is Trishula and Trishula and Thousand Eye Restrict going to 2. Now, we didn't see these two much in meta. You may have seen them like once or twice, maybe Trishula a little more than Thousand Eye Restrict, but I think if they might sneak them in a little more, see if that affects the meta even more. And maybe with Trishula it's more of a long shot. With Thousand Eye Restrict, hell, they could probably put on a 3 and no one would care, because it was Metamorphosis that got him banned in the first place. Next up, I see Elder Entity Norden getting banned. That's because of the same thing like Monkey Board. They placed him at 1 and he still really did affect the meta. He is a quick comeback card and a quick way to simply make these big beaters from nothing with instant fusion. Next, I see Laval Chain maybe coming back to 1 if my prediction of Burning Abyss is right. Now, with Laval Chain, he is a walking, what's that called? Foolish Burial. Yes, he is a walking Foolish Burial, and also he is a very viable card to place a monster card on top of your deck. So that can help a lot of decks out. Plus, he is a generic rank 4, which means that you can make him very quickly with just 2 regular level 4s. So, next, Beatrice and Dante. I see Beatrice not getting hit whatsoever, maybe going to 2, but still not really much getting hit. Dante, I think he's stayed at 3 for long enough. They might hit him to 1, and if they do, then simply they might bring back Laval Chain, so then people can still play PK Fire, such as make Break Sword, Destroy Self, bring back 2 Phantom Knights as level 4s, and then make Laval Chain. It's a nice little combo that they could do, but it might be a long shot, because I don't know if Konami really likes the thought of PK Fire surviving this ban list. Next up, Windup Carriers and Mighty, and I see him going to 1 to bring back Windups. I truthfully would love to see Windups coming back, but if he does come back, they will have to ban Windup Hunter. Now, I was not around when the Windup Loop was around, but from what I've heard, the main card that they could bring out was Windup Hunter, ripping cards from your hand with Zen Mighty, specialing him multiple times. So, I truthfully think it was Hunter that really broke it, and it wasn't Zen Mighty. So, that's about it for this ban list predictions. If you guys liked this video, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe for more from us at MGBK Studios. And how about you put some of your ban list predictions down in the comments below. And that's about it. So, bye-bye.